Hi.
Base SDK, iOS. There's nothing. Never mind.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, Sahid. By the way, what is?
I think the issue is from Bitcoins.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, it was some
Oh.
conversation background, but now it's good.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. By the way, if you or Rob, hi Rob, by the way, see like any issue with my video or sound, we had a storm.
Oh.
And yeah, so there is no electricity, and I use mobile internet. So if you experience any problem with my audio or video, I will try to change something. So like just yeah, during the call, if something, any trouble, just like say to me, and I will try to do something. And
Maybe
like
turn off your video.
Okay, so
Yeah.
not enough bandwidth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will turn it off. Yeah, so it's look like we're waiting for Yakov. Nobody else like added themselves to agenda. So I will ping Yakov on Slack to see if he's coming. Yeah, so I ping Yakov. If he's so he knows that we started. And here is the agenda. I posted in the chat. By the way, can you confirm that sound is good?
Yeah, sound is good.
Okay, cool. So let's start. Yeah, as usual. Like you need to sign membership agreement and participation guidelines and code of conduct. You can sign it as individual, not only like as organization, and it's the same membership agreement for other GraphQL working group and the other working group and the GraphQL Foundation. So you need to sign it only once. So if you're watching this on YouTube or like want to join future meeting, please sign membership agreements. And second item is let's do introduction. And I will start. Hi, my name is Ivan. I help to maintain GraphQL.js, and now I experience problem with internet, so that's why no video from me.
Hello, my name is Sahaj, and I help work with I help Avan on GraphQL.js. Yeah.
Rob, I work for First Dibs, and I've been working on the defer and stream spec proposal.
Yeah, so let's shift to note taking. We kind of don't do that, but at the same time we have video recordings on YouTube, so at some point maybe we need to start doing notes, but now I think we can skip it, especially since it's like 3 of us. So review agenda, and yeah, so one item for me and one item for Sahid. Anything else like you want to add, Rob? Do you want to like discuss anything from your side?
No, nothing for me. I've been pretty busy, so I haven't been able to do much defer and stream stuff, but just wanted to hear what the latest updates were for version 16.
Okay. So, okay. Review agenda, action items. Action items. Yeah, actually, like about security. So top one, if you, I will send the link in the chat. So if you open, it's about security issues. Yeah, I sent the link in the chat. So security bug reports. I actually need to fill one myself. There is like one CV I fixed, a couple of CVs, but the last one was pretty big. Not like critical, but big. So I need to fill it out. One thing I actually wanted to do it after 16.0.0 to have two versions patched, because right now only 15 line is patched. So I think like in a sense we can use this opportunity to motivate people to switch to newer versions and see like if a lot of community cannot update for some reason, we can try to move that to we can move to add fix to 14.0.0 or 14.x6 line. So yeah, I will, because I need to report it anyway, so I claim this security bug reports. Setup discussion on GraphQL. I think like, yeah, Sahid, you volunteered to do that. And since now, I think you have like all the rights to set up discussions. And the last time we discussed it, agreement was that you do it as an experiment to see how much time it will require for you.
Yeah, like, I mean, people, we don't. The plan was to have it. I'm still down to like help out with it, but it's like we are not getting many. Like the questions we get like recently, they're not either they're too technical. They're kind of like they're not. Sometimes they're like feature things, and then others are like example suggestion, which shouldn't even which we can just close at times because Because they don't
Okay.
like make sense to be here. But like, yeah, discussions, like if we have something, we can just move the issues to discussions. I think that's the goal. Like anything we label with a question, we can just move it. If
Okay,
that's,
so yeah, so it means we can do something. So enable discussion and point like in issues.
yeah,
You can point discussion like issue templates, conduct for discussions,
okay,
and I think we have some activity on Slack in GraphQL.js. Like
yeah,
from time to time, people write there, but it will disappear. So we can experiment with it and see how it's go. If it's like low activity or if it's a lot of maintainers, we can pause it. Yeah, third one is number 35 about flow types and Facebook engineers. I will close it because it's already resolved itself. We discussed it with Facebook engineers, so they're okay with us dropping flow types. They said they will basically pin the dependency to last version. Yeah. Oh, by the way, hi Yakov. Thanks for joining in.
Hi, thank you. Sorry to late.
Yeah, we're reviewing like open action items. You can see a link in the chat. SOA, this is a big one. Characteristic for maintainers. Yeah, I think like other ones big, and it for me, I must say there is like progress on that. So it, yeah, status update on 16x6. So obviously, like biggest thing that was done in like preparation for 16x6 16.0.0 release is TypeScript migration, and it's done. So from start from a goals, planned goals, I will send a issue here. Sorry, I cannot share my screen or like the video because I have problem with internet. So I just posted issue link in chat. So from a stuff that we promised beforehand is Dino support, ESM. By the way, to hear, because like right now electricity is switched on. I had like a storm in my location, so I think, do you hear me right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, super. Yeah, and maybe I will have a decent internet in like a couple minutes. Yeah, but let's continue. Yeah, so from 5 goals, if you open an issue, there is a top, at first command, there is like a list of goals. I think like we almost converted, like there is issues like enums, and we cannot do like 100% ideal conversion anyway. So from all this stuff, we're missing like probably enums is the biggest thing missing from idiomatic TypeScript, and there is PR about that. Second goal is address fully. We remove like fully remove flow. We remove polyfills. We removed like ES5 classes, like pre-ES prototype classes. So we switch to property 6 syntax. And number 5 is also done, switch to master to main. What we're missing right now is like support for Dino and support for ESM. I would say support for Dino is almost done, except like one issue with instance of and we use process. So we get rid of all not specific APIs except for one particular thing. As for support for ESM, it's let's try. I will share screen because yeah. So you see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like basically what we're missing is number 3, number 4. I actually think like for Deno support, it's less critical because Deno community is not using npm anyway, and they don't use like strict version control in a sense. Like they don't use strict releases. Preferred way is to just refer to like tags or master. So we can do finish like Deno support after 16.0 release. As for ESM, I'm kind of not sure what to do there. I think what's open action item for me is to open separate issue, discuss problems that I experienced when I tried to edit ESM support previously. It's kind of big topic. So other than that, I think like another thing that can be like kind of critical is Yakov's PRs. I think they need to be merged between before 16.0.0 release, because our plan was to kind of like put 16 after 16.0.0 to put it in maintenance mode. So that means like to really release this API, and so also we created a bunch of PRs, and I think yeah, let me stop sharing. So created a bunch of PRs, and some of them introduced breaking changes. At least I will review some of them. So like mostly we blocked by two things, like ESM support and a decision if we need to support ESM or not, and review pipeline. So about ESM, I will open an issue to see what other people may suggest. As for reviewing, I need to dedicate more time. I will have more time next week, so I will dedicate it just to like reviewing stuff and moving pipeline. So previously I wanted to finish like relay.js changes, and I finished it. Right now it's more or less stable and working, and I unblocked Sahid on that. So now I'm returning back to reviewing GraphQL.js pairs. Not sure about first day like this week, but next week I will have more time. So I will review Yakov's PR, lead PRs, like any other PRs, and I will do triage. So I will mark everything that is working 1600 and everything that is ready. Any question on that or like suggestion and feedback?
For the pipeline, I can help with like GitHub Actions if that's needed.
What GitHub actions?
Like we talked about the pipeline, right? For deploying.
For deploying after
Yeah.
deploying. No, I think it's not a blocker, so I can still do 1600 manually. And
Okay.
actually, I prefer it because it's like kind of big release.
Yeah.
So, and idea was to wait like a week or two for people to start using it. One thing I can do, and it will probably speed up stuff. So like we don't expect like huge breaking change, like maybe some breaking change, but not huge breaking change. So I think we're kind of ready for beta. I will release like beta package because like from alpha, I think like right now alpha 4 or alpha 5 doing release candidate or like doing release is not logical. It's not logic. So I will do RC today, tomorrow. I will, oh, not RC beta. I will release beta. The only one big breaking change I would potentially anticipate is like ESM support because it's like really hard to support both CGS and ESM in the same package. And like for it to be for it to work with like tree shake and everything else. But I think it's still qualified for beta because like we switched to Type 3, we did like huge number of breaking changes, and now we just clean up the smaller parts. By the way, if you want to help, um, it's good thing would be to review, help with peer reviews. So it will take me some time to review all of them. And if you like look at them and see something, please comment there. So, uh, you know, instead of waiting for me to give feedback, there is a chance that like you can discover something and PR after can iterate on it. By the way, like big thanks for like Sahid, big thanks for pinging a new PR about the news. So like we know that if the owner wants to rebase it or not. So big thanks on that. If you
Oh yeah.
see any other PRs, uh, like measurable non-controversial PR, so it's not a big change, it's not like a feature. So yeah, it would be great if you do the same, because like some of them are pretty basic. It just like stuck at some point. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other feedback on release plan for 1600? Anything else you think like worth including? Or like stuff that you think is maybe not important for 1600? maybe you have suggestion how to change the release plan.
I think it's fine so far.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
if others have anything.
another thing, I will update the release plan with like more details. I think I didn't update it for a long time. Yeah, for like half a year or more. So let's switch to another topic. Next topic. Next topic is, I think it was yours, Sahid, about documentation.
Docs. Yeah. So we got my pull request for ESLint rules in. So now we will have tsdoc ESLint rules enabled, which will allow like which will just like make a standard on how we comment our code. And now I can start. So I think we discussed earlier to like start with Docusaurus. So I will play around with like getting the because earlier on I did start with like tsdoc part, like getting the tsdoc comments out and then like generating docs with Gatsby. But I think Docusaurus is a better choice for us because we get easy support of like versioning our docs, which is one thing missing in GraphQL docs. So that will help us. And like Docusaurus has like many other things that are just baked in. We don't have to do much work. So the goal would be to like hopefully by next meeting I will have like some sort of MVP ready for DocSite that has all the docs pulled in from our code comments, and then I will also merge. So in our, we did talk about it earlier on. We have like a docs folder in GraphQL.js, which we will just put everything in our comments because they are basically taken out from our code comments. So I will work on that. I will get the docs up. So our code has like the updated docs in it. So this will allow us to delete the docs folder and then have our new site up in the docs folder place. And yeah, then after that is then we can start like removing from the main GraphQL site and directing to the GraphQL.js docs site. And then soon we should like, and then after that we can also have like some example code references because there are a couple issues I triaged. They're like we don't have like we don't have like good examples for someone to look at. So having like good examples where someone can see how GraphQL.js is used, because most of the examples out there are just like using with Express or something on the server side, but like using it with something like using in browser like how Graphical does, there was an issue on it. We should show like more, we should have like more examples on how people can use it, and this will help.
I think maybe we can, I don't know if it's like a really good idea or not, but maybe we can reuse integration test. I added integration test for Webpack. Maybe we can, like,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like we can have our tests as a doc example too, right?
yeah. So one thing to note and it
Yeah,
encourage you is like, mm, we I maintained like pretty high bar for code changes. So,
yeah,
but for like docs, it's like totally different story. Yeah,
okay,
right now we have like very outdated like, dysfunctional docs. So some docs, not ideal docs, is better than no docs or like outdated documentation.
yeah,
So feel free to like iterate on it, like uh, for example, compared to your TypeScript migration or TypeScript migration on other repos. It's like it was a long process because basically we wanted to maintain the same level of quality, and it was big with fall, and I wanted to keep it at the same level for TypeScript. as for docs, it's like totally different story. So when you have like something functional,
Yeah.
I'm like totally okay merging it. One thing like security is important, but docs are static, so I don't think any like the only thing maybe we can try to minimize number of dependencies. So dependencies that like absolutely necessary
Okay.
because it's harder to maintain dependency and update them, and it's also security risk. Other than that, like if it's don't add like anything special, like Docosaurus is good, like and like official TypeScript documentation generation is also good. Some popular project plugins also good to use. So
Oh,
like when you have a prototype plus, I think we can start with uh, building docs in kind of stealth mode, meaning we can post it on GitHub, our GitHub pages, but don't link it to on GraphQL.org.
okay.
And yeah, just because like uh, big PRs have a tendency to like, especially things that stuff into packages and package work. So I encourage you when you have something like working, even
Yeah.
if it's like super simple, just create PR. I will like, fastly review it. I'm not front end. I'm not expert in front end. I have like very basic knowledge in front
Okay.
end. But yeah, so yeah. Main idea is we can iterate on it. So
Yeah. Like it'll be something at least having just a basic docs out there because
yeah,
any docs we have for GraphQL.js are just outdated.
yeah.
Yeah.
And later we can figure out how to embed it into GraphQL.org. It will be another challenge to figure out how to do it properly. But for now, yeah, definitely merge it, release to GitHub pages, and
Okay.
yeah. And it's actually will enable people to work in parallel. So maybe somebody volunteers to review generated like pages and help, and it's a good way to get in new contributors because it's like not a hard task to do.
Yep. Yes, that was it for me. And then for Relay, yeah, so I'm working on the converting Relay to TypeScript right now. So, so Juan, you mentioned to me that I need to use like GraphQL 16. I should use that. So, do you want me to wait for the beta release or should I use alpha?
I don't think
Doesn't
it
matter.
matters that much.
Okay.
What I released like Relay, I think yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will wait for like a couple of days to see if somebody create like bugs if,
Okay.
in case it breaks something. But
Okay.
other than that, I'm happy to use Alpha.
Okay.
It's not very popular project.
Yeah.
And by the way, like since I think another thing I need to open issue about it on either repo, GraphQL.js repo.
Yeah.
Plan is to merge GraphQL Relay.js into GraphQL package because now it's required like maintenance. So it's like a lot of duplicated work on both. So by merging it into GraphQL.js, it will make life easier for maintaining it. And
So
yeah.
Question. So if we merge it, so are we still going to like, so if I do npm install GraphQL relay, right? That's what I download. So are we still gonna publish to npm as GraphQL relay, or is it gonna be a package just like you just download and GraphQL and then it works?
Yeah, just I think like uh, for beginning, just because like I spoke with the relay team at Facebook, and
Yeah.
they said like some things don't make sense anymore. Like for example, client ID mutations is not relevant in relay modern. So like some functions, some stuff is not relevant. Some stuff need to be updated.
Okay.
So that's why I don't want to make it like fully official. An idea is expose it under GraphQL/relay. So not expose it in main index.js,
Oh,
index.js, but yeah, but have it as part of GraphQL package. So we don't have like workspaces or other things that complicates things, especially since like both packages are zero dependency. GraphQL is zero dependency, and Relay depends. GraphQL Relay only depends on GraphQL. So when we merge them, it will be zero dependency, and it it will be also possible to use it in Dino. One thing I need to, I think like much like that, I need to have confirmation from technical steering committee and discuss it on working group. I will add it into agenda. I think like working group happenings tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. So I will add it into agenda to have like green light. But for time being, I kind of want to merge like source and release it as part of the package, but
okay.
not not giving people impression as part of the specification. So to use it, you need to do GraphQL/relay.
So other question is,
Yeah.
if so like um, so how do we move this? Like, do we take all the Git history from the relay repo, or do we just like copy the files over and open pull request? How does that look like?
I think ideally we would preserve history, but I'm not sure if it's easy to do, even like full, really possible. So I'm not sure.
Okay.
But like ideas like that, we need to archive relay repo anyway to
Okay.
have like issues and PRs. So I think we have the similar example when graphical team, Ricky and other maintainers, they merged bunch of related projects into graphical repo, and they archive repos. So even if we cannot preserve Git history and just like edit, basically drop this file into GraphQL.js repo, uh, Git history would be still available through archived repo. So it's
Okay.
not ideal, so because Git blame wouldn't work, but out of box, but you'll be able to check like history. So I think one thing, I don't want to block 1600 release. Basically,
Yeah.
idea is to block you so you can continue with TypeScript conversion, because it will take some time. It's things that need to be done. Plus, we will get some feedback on GraphQL JS changes when you switch to alpha release. we'll use it as like test subject to see if we break something out. Yakov, I see like you sent something.
Hi, yeah, I just sent the link for later so I wouldn't lose it, but I don't mean to interrupt.
Okay, no, I think it's like, I think maybe it's related to conversation. Okay, thanks. So, Sahid, did I answer your question?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Anything else from you related? Any question related to relay before we switch to another
I
topic?
think I'm good for now. I'll ping you on Slack if I have any.
Okay. So, Yakov, it's like you wanted to discuss something.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure. Actually, it's a question for you guys and for Rob or for anyone. I'm not sure if the right place to discuss that PR is this working group or the spec working group. Basically, there's a bug in the implementation of or just not a bug, but sort of. I'm not sure if the implementation is following this in terms of whether stream payloads are allowed to be sent out of order if they resolve out of order. So right now they are sent out of order if they resolve out of order. The spec is not 100% clear. I guess it depends on how you read it. And it sounded like from the last working group meeting that we don't want that to happen. But the spec isn't clear and the implementation lets it happen. So I'm just not sure which way.
Yeah, I think the intention was that they would be allowed to be out of order. I think that was what we discussed like a while ago with Facebook. I don't remember 100%, but yeah, I didn't really see a reason like why we should hold them up if they're ready. That's kind of what our perspective was. I mean, we definitely should make it more clear and see if everyone.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I got the opposite impression from the working group, but I'm good at the more recent one, just the one I attended most recently. But I'm good at misunderstanding things. So so I think the fix then is not a code fix, but just to make the spec more clear, and then that's that.
Yeah, I haven't heard any reasons why we should hold them up to be in order. But I mean, I'm open to it if there are good reasons for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not raising one here. I don't have a good reason. Just that. I mean, I guess it provides, it's an additional wrinkle for implementers, but as long as they're aware of it, they should figure it out.
Yeah, and I just have been really busy with other stuff at work, so I'm not totally caught up on all the GitHub discussions that have been happening over the past month.
Okay, well, I think that answers the question from this end, and I guess maybe I'll do a pull request on the spec just to make it more explicit, and then the discussion will move there. But I'm happy with that. That's fine with me. Thanks.
All right, great, thank you.
Yeah, like I think like Rob, you have RFC right in GraphQL spec repo. So yeah, I think like PR against with RFC would be great. Another thing, if like you have time, you can review video from working group that you mentioned, because all the working group videos are on YouTube. So if you're interested, you can rewatch it and maybe found where somebody like oppose that, or like basically a relevant discussion. I just wanted to mention that we have like all video recordings on YouTube. And by the way, if you need transcript, I have access to Zoom transcript for working group meetings. So ping me in Slack if you want to review transcript for that discussion. So anybody else have any questions because before we finish?
I just sent an issue in the chat. If I think it's something you have to answer then maybe.
Yeah. It's what we kind of discussed uh, with Yakov in a sense. So in other issue, in other PR, so like at some point we need to add middlewares to GraphQL executor. Like with issue, I check out the repo that people posted, and some of it I don't think it makes sense, a lot of sense to include in GraphQL.js. For example, like wrapping function like parse or validate. So if you want to do performance monitoring for parsing, you can do it yourself basically because it's just one call. I don't think like people interested in internals, monitoring internals of parse function. They interested how much time it takes to parse things. So what I'm like, I don't think it's worth to create some mechanism to call before function and after function. It should be like included in frameworks or libraries, servers built on top of GraphQL.js. But what cannot be done outside of GraphQL.js is performance monitoring of execution. So because it should be per resolver, per field or per resolver. So I think we need at some point we need to figure out a mechanism for doing that, supporting like middlewares. I don't think it's go into 16.0.0 scope because I think it's actually like features like that is the reason I want to switch to unstable master to be able to add something, get the feedback from people and iterate on it.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So this
I
is
think,
like a post 16
yeah,
if we ever pursue this.
yeah. No, I think like from a part that we need to support like middlewares for logging and tracing execution.
Yeah.
It's like we definitely need to support it
Okay.
in some way. So it's totally a reasonable feature request. It's even reasonable for um, reference implementation because other languages also need to implement it. It's not like something JavaScript specific or something. So as you probably know, key issue here is like GraphQL.js was never built as was that was never built as production ready library for like execution because Facebook used PHP backend for executing GraphQL queries. That's why GraphQL.js consists mostly it's like a code that was used in graphical or some internal tooling. That's why like we miss some critical, I would say critical features for production to be production ready. Kind of people work around it by wrapping resolvers or doing other things. But I think we need to solve it in the core. But like to be clear, it's only related to providing middlewares inside execution. I check like open telemetry repo and I see that they wrap every function, not every function, but a lot of function like validate to parse. I don't think it's we need to to been to particular technology or provide some weird like stuff like that. So, but as for execute and execution and subscription, you need to be able to do logging and performance monitoring.
Sounds good.
Anything else that you want to that you want to bring or ask? Any other question, issues, bugs before we finish this meeting?
No.
Okay, sounds good. So we have pretty big plans for next month. I think like target is to release 16.0.0 and have like some basic docs, which would be pretty big features for our project. So let's focus in on executing and see you next month.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Rob.